Hello and welcome to Black Voices, a podcast where we explore the stories, experiences, and identities of Black individuals living in Japan. I am your guest host today, Rick, and I'm thrilled to be turning the mic around for this special episode. Joining me is the founder and usual host of this podcast, Kate Brown. Today we're diving into her story. Kate, thank you so much for letting me take over hosting duties. How does it feel to be on the other side of the interview?
Feels interesting, feels new. Thank you for hosting today's episode.
Of course. Would you care to introduce yourself a little?
So I'm Kate, I'm 17. I lived in Kobe my whole life. I was born here and raised here. My dad's African American and my mom's Japanese. So by context, I am mixed racial, but obviously I lived here my whole life, so I'm not really open to that much of like the American culture or African culture, so yeah.
Interesting. I will be asking a number of questions, and to start off with, we will begin with question number one, which is, how did you come to understand your mixed identity growing up, and how has it evolved over time?
I think growing up, I had a lot of, identity crisis because even though I was raised in only international schools, a lot of them were Asians, or there was times where I was the only Black person in the class or the school. So sometimes when I would have friends, it would be kind of hard to understand. I don't know, it could be like hairstyles, it could be like the dress, why doesn't it look like good on me? Obviously the skin tones. Growing up, I think I had more of problems with how I do my hair rather than anything else. But now it's more kind of like obviously expressing myself, and now that I'm matured, I feel like I've grasped that in-betweenness of being Japanese and being African American as well. So I think it's just a learning process throughout.
I see. Next, do you feel a sense of belonging in either of the cultures you're part of? Or do you feel like you're often caught between them? I feel like you sort of answered that question, but...
Right, yeah. I think growing up is funny, I always wanted to resonate more with the African American culture rather than being Japanese, because I wanted to look different or exotic. But I think a lot of, not just me, but a lot of mixed people's opinions would be the same. Like if you go to the States, they would say you look more Asian. If you're here, they would see more of the foreigner in you. So I think there's not like a full 100% of belonging for me, but like just finding that balance, I think is really important.
I see. Next, have you experienced any challenges in how others perceive your racial identity, especially when they try to place you in a specific category?
I think a lot of that comes from, at least for me, I've experienced it in Japan, where they would just not see me as like a half, but would just put me as you're Black. We don't really see that part of Asian in you, so you're completely foreigner. And it's obviously not their fault. It's what Japanese people have to like live with, because there's so many mixed race people in this generation. They obviously don't know how to get along with that. And I'm not like, I don't think it's a problem, but more so something that mixed people have to learn, that obviously there's going to be times where you're not going to be fixed into one category or group, but more so having that like open-mindedness is one thing, I learned.
Definitely. How do you navigate conversations about race and identity with people who are very curious about the nationality or ethnicity of you?
Right. I mean, of course, I've encountered a lot of people with nationality and ethnicities, and like, when people ask me, where are you actually from? So I think because I get that comment so much, like obviously when someone asks me where I'm from, I would say Japan, because I was born and raised here, but obviously I don't look the part. So I would just, when I meet someone, I would just go out and say, look, I'm half African American, I'm half Japanese, but I grew up here. So it's obviously like a more better knowledge and information that the person I'm talking to has. and obviously I don't have any sort of discomfort expressing myself as that, because I do value being both races, and I am proud of that. So, yeah.
Have you ever felt pressure to choose one side of your heritage over the other? And how did that affect you?
I think I have. I think it's more so between when I'm talking with my parents. When I would, I don't know, speak to my mom's side, like my grandparents and all that, they would kind of like want me to make me not look more Japanese, but like I guess one big thing is hairstyles. Like they would want to have my hair straightened. They think I look better with my hair straightened, and I guess that's kind of like their culture, because obviously Asian people have straight hair. But when I would talk to the people, obviously on my dad's side, or even my dad, like embracing that curly hair, or like that, that natural hair, is I think a big topic that has been said in not my household, but I think it's just my whole life. So I think it's that difference of being pressured from family members, when it comes to like visual aspects, or like how I need to, like manners too, like having that Japanese culture within me, and also that African heritage as well, African American heritage. But I think more so because I grew up here and I lived here for so long, I firmly kind of believe that I'm more, like internally more Japanese than I am American. Obviously with the reasons of me being like here for so long, but yeah, I think pressuring is, I think it's from parents, family members, not really from any like other people, like friends or teachers, or like acquaintances or anything, but yeah.
And that brings us to our final question. In your experience, how do people from different backgrounds react to your mixed identity? Do you find yourself having to explain your identity often?
Yes, definitely. I think, I don't know, a lot of people would try to guess my ethnicity. I've gone a lot of like Latinas, or like just fully African American, or even half white, or suppose. So I think, I do a lot of explaining, so there's no confusion going around. Like I said earlier, I just want to get the bases done, so there's not any like misconceptions about me. A lot of them react very surprised, I guess. I mean, obviously when I tell people here in Japan, they would like kind of like, they'd be like, oh, like, okay, I see. Obviously because I think they can tell I'm half Japanese, and they just want to know what the other half is from, which is kind of obvious for me, I think. But when I would talk to people out of Japan, like any international people or students or anything like that, they'd be really surprised, because like they're not often used to mixed people who are specifically Japanese and African American. And so I get a lot of comments like, oh, that's rare, that's unique. And obviously I take that into a positive mindset, definitely. Like obviously it's fun to have those kind of cultures within me, and explain how that works out for me, because usually they are curious on how, I don't know, my parents met, or like how, one thing I get a lot is how I can speak English a lot. Like they kind of expect me to have an accent, or like, I don't know, not be able to speak English because of my circumstances. But when I just explain to them that I go to an international school, they're like understanding of it. So yeah, definitely, I think.
Well, thank you, Kate, for sharing your valuable experiences today. And it was certainly great to know about, the usual host of this podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll have Kate hosting the interviews again. Bye.